Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, today is Veterans Day, but Jill and I, we're doing the whole month of November as Veteran Appreciation Month. And I tell you, I served 23 years in the Navy, and it was some of the best years of my life, and also gave me a lot of my foundation for what I'm doing today and what I did throughout my career. So I'm excited about this. And we got a great guest that's going to be on the show today. And I'm not going to give it away right now because Michelle will get me. How you doing, Michelle? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Happy Veterans Day to you, James, and everyone out there who served in our country. We thank you. Thank you for your service.
Wow. This is a big day because sacrifice and putting others before self, protecting others at the risk of your life means so much. And this guest that we have today is epitome of that. And he's going to talk to us about a lot of different things, but serving a purpose bigger than yourself is more important than anything. Hey, Todd, how you doing back in Southern California?
I'm always good. And I also want to say thank you to all the veterans who have served to help us stay free and all that they've sacrificed. It means so much. Shout out to you, James. Shout out to my pops. His name is James as well. So we're about to lock everybody in here in about 3 seconds. You ready to go?
Let's lock everybody in. Let's get this party started, my friend.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Listen up. It's Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, happy Veterans Day to everyone out there that are watching this show. And whatever platform that you're watching this on, whether you're watching this on E360 television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, E360, all of these other different platforms, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of this conversation with this absolutely fantastic guest that we have on today, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on. Go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer, but I'll make it easier for you as well. We are syndicated on radio KCBQ, AM 1170 Answer, FM 96.1, San Diego, go. If you want to just call in to the show, all you have to do is just pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Michelle, I am excited about this guest. I'm excited about the show because I am a veteran myself. 23 years in the United States Navy, the best Navy in the world, actually quiet as a kept. Don't get mad at me out there, military veterans, but the Navy is...
And then our son followed in your footsteps because he's currently in the Navy.
Yes.
So, like son, like father, like father, like son.
Well, I'm excited, Michelle. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I can't wait to introduce this guest.
Wow. Okay. I tell you, can you please do the honors of introducing the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest that we got?
Yes. Well, the title of today's show is Serving a Purpose Bigger Than Yourself. And we're having a sit-down discussion with retired Rear Admiral Mike Manazir. And he's a military veteran, and he's also an author. He's going to discuss aligning personal values to the organization, commitment to a higher purpose, taking the oath, and emotional connection with our flag. He's retired Rear Admiral Mike Manazir served in the United States Navy for 36 years, retiring in July 2017. He is currently a vice president with the Boeing Company, headquartered in Washington, D.C. In the Navy, he was trained as a Navy aviator and ship captain, flying 3,750 hours in the F-14 Tomcat and F-18 Super Hornet. He has 1,240 arrested landings on different aircraft carriers with 15 overseas deployments. He is a graduate of Top Gun. During ever-increasing leadership responsibilities, leading 350 people to more than 10,000, Mike commanded a Navy fighter squadron, a supply ship, the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz, and Carrier Strike Group 8, embarked on USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. In his spare time, he's the best-selling author of Learn How to Lead to Win, 33 powerful stories of leadership and learning. Mike's Maxims, a companion to Lead to Win book, as well as 2 short ebooks about faith and trust. All can be found on Amazon and other retail outlets. So he authors a weekly newsletter on discrete leadership topics. So please welcome back to the show, retired Rear Admiral Mike Manazir.
Listen to that.
How you doing, Admiral, man? It's always a pleasure having you on the show, my friend.
I'm doing great, Dr. Cooley. I'll tell you what, there was so much energy pumped into the beginning of this show. I have to up my game, but it's wonderful being back.
You know what? It's wonderful having you back on, and I appreciate you coming back on because I tell you, I've been watching your work or reading your weekly letter and that you and your little mini commercials that you do, and I am thrilled at all the things that you are doing. You know, so hey, Admiral Mike, can you tell our viewers a little bit more about you, where you grew up, what inspired you to go to the academy, enlist? I mean, not enlist, but academy, and when did you know that this is what you was going to do for the rest of your life?
Well, James, thank you so much. That's a great lead-in question. I want to recognize your service to the U.S. Navy, greatest Navy in the world, greatest Navy that's ever been, and to recognize that of your son. So it's a wonderful role model to have your son follow in your footsteps and be Hayes Gray and underway somewhere out there. So here's best wishes to all the veterans that are out there and to all who are active duty and who serve to protect our country. I started out, my father was a United States Marine, and the vision that I had occurred when I was about 14 years old, in the 8th grade or so, whatever age that is. He took us to a Navy Georgia Tech away football game. So not at Navy, but at Georgia Tech. And we were stationed in South Carolina at the time. And we were sitting in the stands. We watched the midshipmen march on. And I went, that right there. Bang, it was like a flash. I want to do that. Long black coat, white hat, marching in, looking good. That right there. That. I turned to my parents and I want to go to the Naval Academy. And I had heard Naval Academy stories for my whole young life, and I never gave a thought to it. But that vision became my North Star. And then we went through 4 different high schools, ended up in Mission Viejo, California. So somewhere out there where the majority of your audience even might be. And I just did everything possible to go to the United States Naval Academy. And it kind of honed down to, I want to fly. I want to be a naval aviator and fly. And as I got there, Tomcat, F-14 Tomcats were doing great things out on aircraft carriers. And it honed down to, I want to go fly Tomcats. And so I got to go to the Naval Academy and fly Tomcats. I did good enough to get a flight school slot. And I went down to flight school and I did good enough to get an F-14 slot way back in 1983 when I got my wings. But that vision of the midshipmen marching on at Georgia Tech Stadium, that was my North Star. That's what got me started.
Wow. And, that started it. And you rose to the absolute top. I mean, where you commanded, and I look at this, anything that we do in the service is successful. But if you are commanding an aircraft carrier,
that's the best job in the galaxy. It's the best job in the galaxy, that job. It's hard to get there, but it's wonderful, wonderful job.
And we only have 13 carriers, 12 or 13 carriers in the Navy at one time, maybe more. But to be selected to be the commander of all of those people, all these different squadrons, and just so many folks just coming in and out. I mean, other carrier, different, the Marines, everything. We have to develop a form of leadership because you got so many things going on at one time. When did you understand that, hey, I got the best job in the world. These people trust in me. Not just that, the president, everybody, the United States of America, and our allies really believe in what I am doing, and I will not disappoint. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I love the framing of the question because I'm going to flip it just a little bit. The nirvana of leadership is when you don't want to disappoint those that you work with. I'm not saying be the boss. Your teammates, people, employees, teammates, you don't want to disappoint them. They don't want to disappoint you. And so you work every day to partner from a human connection, from your heart, with all of those people. As Michelle alluded to in my great career, by the way, if somebody reads my bio like that, I always go, I want to meet that guy. Look at all those cool things. I just got to do fun stuff from the Navy, right? So it's just wonderful. So, but I had commanded a fighter squadron of 350 people. Then I was the executive officer of Carl Vinson after nuclear power school. So I had a little bit of leadership experience. And then I was the CEO of a supply ship, the USS Sacramento. It's a deep draft ship on the way to commanding Nimitz. They make sure that the captains who are selected to command our national assets have a whole bunch of experience. So I had a bunch of leadership training along the way. I was also still learning how to be a leader in charge of Nimitz, 5,000 people. And so what I thought about was, how do I motivate these people to be the best ship we possibly could in the Navy? I can't just order them and tell them and be, hard on them. I have to figure out a way to team with everybody so that they internalize what it was that they had to do to make our ship successful. And in order to do that, you have to be approachable. You have to be authentic. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be their captain. And they want to be connected with you. And so the ship molds together through all the workups, as you know, as we went out there. And really was awesome leading those 5,000 people and touching every one of those people, communicating with them, telling them what's going on, telling them what I need them to do, telling them what I'm worried about, or what's kind of in our way, and showing them the challenge that they have to overcome. And oh my gosh, every turn, James, they exceeded my expectations. Nimitz exceeded my expectations for the entire almost 3 years I was there.
Wow. Hold that thought, Admiral, because we're going to take a station break. But we're going to take, I can't say short because Todd going to beat me up, so it's not going to be a short break. But we're going to take a station break, whichever platform that you're watching us on. If you want to be part of the conversation, all I had to do is go to the comments section, send the question that you might have, or you can just pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll be back with a lot more after Mike shortly after the message.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man's point of view.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Dr. JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Generation of leaders and heroes, get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
The James Cooley Show.
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and my guest today is Admiral Mike. That's what I call Admiral Mike, and a lot of things that he is doing. From transitioning from the military to the civilian community is superb, because still doing the same things that he learned. I'm talking about the leadership styles and the different things that's going to make an organization successful. It's going to build up the people that are in the organization where they know that they have self-worth, and also not just serving yourself, you're serving others. And that's what we're going to talk about, serving a purpose bigger than yourself. But before I get off into that one, Admiral Mike got a good friend of mine and yours that's tuning in, watching the show. And this guy is, every time I talk to him, he's like, Mike is a leader. Mike leads. He leads to win. Without any further ado, I am going to bring your friend and my friend, Tim Grant. Hey, Tim, we can't hear you. Your mic is mute.
There you go. See, that's why I'm the number two. I carry the book. I unmute the call. But hey, the Bible and Lead to Win, the only two books you need, my humble opinion.
Hey, how you doing today, Tim, man?
Good. Hey, better than I'm with you two guys. And thank you for your service. I happen to know both of your stories. Both of them are quite frankly amazing stories. But I know Mike's. I've gotten to know yours, James, and what a great day it is. I also got my Nimitz cap. I never wear this outdoors. Mike let me buy this in the store there when I was on the Nimitz for 3 days or so. Most amazing 3 days of my life. I don't wear it outside though, because that would be stolen valor. So it just stays in the bookshelf. But I was just reading chapter 16. Morale officer. Article 10. So it's good to be with you guys.
Great to see you, Tim. You look great, and your story is as amazing as mine could ever be.
Yeah, so, we see on Thursday, man. I'm back at UCSD, for the annual. So we'll see how that goes. But
okay, good luck, brother.
Yeah,
Tim, it's always a pleasure. I missed you when I was there last week.
Yeah,
when I was in Temecula, but Michelle and I will be back there in about 3 weeks, and we'll make sure we hook up. So.
All right.
It's always a pleasure seeing you, my friend. Always. Always.
All right. And hi, Michelle. I know you're in the back there somewhere.
Yeah, she's probably in the background downstairs. Hey, stick around if you have any questions. Just we'll pop you back up here. And...
Sure. No, happy to be here. I'll just retreat to the background. And hey, remember, on ebook, hardcover. Hardcover's the bargain. Okay, you can get this off, but make a commitment, get the hardcover, and for a few bucks more, get the little bio plate on the inside where it's noted, where it's signed off for you.
You got to get that. Hey, Tim, we'll talk to you in a minute.
All right.
Admiral Mike, let's talk about the title of the show, serving a purpose bigger than yourself, and just like I was explaining that sometimes it takes a person that truly understand that it's not all about the I, the me, and the my. It's about the we, the us, and the our. And anything that we are doing in order to create a team, in order to create a winning organization, we have to lead to win. Can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more why you chose that title? And let's just go directly into it.
Yeah, that's great. And it's so neat to see Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Grant and I go back all the way to 1976. And we graduated from that last high school I went to the United States Naval Academy from. Tim has been part of my story, my life story for that long. And we remain very, very close, great friends. If we get an opportunity, I'll have him share the little life metaphor that we have together. But James, thanks for the question. I have discovered in my leadership journey a couple of things and some what I call digestibles I want to leave with the audience. The first one is, chapter 16, as Tim said, morale. I literally, as I was approaching command of my fighter squadron, which was the first time I had command in the United States Navy in 1997. I was literally sitting in the bar at Naval Air Station Oceana with somebody, and I turned to him and said, why is morale important? As silly as that sounds, why is morale important? Well, I can just order them, right? I just order them to do something. And some people think that leading in the military is very easy. You just order people. Well, it turns out, actually, you can order people, and they have to, by their solemn oath, follow the lawful orders of those appointed over them. But you won't get the best from people unless they have high morale, high support to the squadron from a spiritual perspective, high esprit de corps, and they're committed to the mission. And we'll talk about something bigger than yourself in a second here as I build this thought process. So it turns out that leading in the civilian world, as I am now, is the same as leading in the military. It's leading people. Here's the second digestible that I want you to understand. Every human being on earth wants two things. The first one is to feel valued themselves. So to feel valued for their perspective, who they are, where they came from, why they come to work every day. I literally say to people sometimes, hey, thanks for coming to work today. And they laugh. And I go, no, really, we couldn't do our jobs. Our company would not be successful if you didn't come to work. But thanks for coming to work today. I value you for who you are and what you bring to the workspace. That's first. Second, every human being wants to feel part of something bigger than themselves, a purpose bigger than themselves. Now, there's no magic there, but it's just something greater. I have found that that's what gives people joy in life, having a purpose, a reason to wake up every day, knowing that they're being valued somewhere and they're contributing to something bigger. And so those two things, as a leader, if you recognize that it's through a human to human connection where your authenticity and vulnerability as a person and not as the boss, no title, but actually leading from your heart, recognizing you're valuing each person for who they are, where they came from, what their perspectives are, why they came to work. And then the fact that they want to be bigger than themselves. It could be your company. It could be the country, the United States of America itself, the nation, a service to our nation, like the military or some other sort of service. Maybe your church, your God, something higher than you is going to drive you. And that perspective is going to keep people joyful as they wake up every morning. As a leader, you want to recognize that each person needs to feel valued. So you go through your tactical day, making sure each person feels valued. And then you underscore the purposes that people are connecting to. Now, my life in the United States Navy, I was looking for that spark in everybody that came when they joined the Navy and why they joined the Navy. If they joined for the educational benefits or because the judge said you're either going to jail or one of the services, pick one, and they go in there. Whatever that spark is, the guy to join the Navy, I would blow on that spark. I would make that spark light up. And so the purpose that we were in the Navy for. And so when I talked to my command, when I would communicate, especially on Nimitz, general announcing system, it's called the 1MC. And I would fire up every night and talk about how cool it was to be on Nimitz, and this is what we're doing out there. And so your you're magnifying that joy that is inside of every person that works for you every single day by connecting with them. Later on, if James lets me, I'll tell you a story about how I came to be really connected to our flag and the purpose bigger than myself.
Let's talk about that now.
Okay. Let me tell you that story. So I'm going to cut it a little bit short because usually it takes me a while to tell the story. I set the stage, but you all know that when we join the military, we take an oath of support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. So I took that oath in the summer of 1977 as I entered the Naval Academy. And at each promotion through the Navy, I retook that oath, similar to James, similar to James's son, similar to all the veterans out there. And by the way, our country is very lucky to be supported by a military that sacrifices what it does. And our military is very lucky to be supported by our country. Those in the military and those that are veterans, we never untake that oath. That oath is still the same. You still swear allegiance to the Constitution of the United States. And so I graduated the Naval Academy 4 years later. I went out and, went down in temporary duty before I went to flight school. And, I'm waiting to go to flight school. We decided that this little group of us is going to go to SEER school, Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape School. Now, it's kind of funny. I'll shortcut a little bit here. You don't usually go to SEER school until you're a qualified naval aviator, which for me was going to be about 2.5 years down the road. But we all decided, heck, why not? Let's go to SEER school. And so a group of us went there, and it was in the mountains of Southern California, and they trained us how to be prisoners of war in case we were shot down over bad guy country. And so it initially started out as kind of a sort of a fun training thing, and it got very serious after a while. It got very serious, and we were there for just a little bit. And so at the end of that experience, and this is the part that I shortcut to, they had us in the morning at dawn in this camp that we were in, and we were being made to. I see the thing coming up. Maybe we got to break the story here a little bit, James. You tell me.
I tell you what. Hold that thought, because
all right, I'll hold that thought.
I think our audience would really need to hear this. I know where you're going, and I want to hear it. So I tell you what, we're gonna take some break, and whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of the conversation, just go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have, or pick up the phone and call Todd. I call him Toddy. Call him in KC BQ Studios in San Diego, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The answer, that number is 1-888-344-1170. Again, that number is 1-888-344-1170. It's your life. And we'll be back shortly with a lot more Admiral Mike after the station break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z, and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
You get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by Dr. James Cooley on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Hello, and welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell y'all, and hey, Tim, yeah, you know I'm sitting here having.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just trying to emulate the dance move. You know,
Don't do it.
Exactly.
You know, this is such. I mean, it's Veterans Day, and we are smiling. We're happy. We're joyful. We represent, or many of us are active duty, still representing the greatest military in the world. Mike and I was part, and we still are part of the legacy and all the things that we represented in leading the new generation of our military, and also protecting our homelands and just honoring all of the veterans that have served throughout the 200 and something plus years in our military. Their sacrifices should not be forgotten. So therefore, Michelle and I created, I'm sure this is Veterans Day, but we are celebrating Veterans Month, whole month of November. And just to have Admiral Mike on the show, I know he's so busy doing all the things that he's doing, for him to come on and share a lot of these ideas. And Admiral Mike, we're going to get back to the story in a minute. I can't let you get away from that one. But Todd, in our KCBQ studios, what you think about the show so far, Todd?
Oh, great show. I want to thank everybody for their service. Let's get right back to it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right back to the veterans.
Yeah, we got to get back to the veterans. So Michelle joined us. How you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing fine. You know, I'm interested in hearing Admiral Mike's story. Before the break came about, he's going over some stuff with us, and you know, you're an inspiration. And
we're going to share that story. Admiral Mike going to share that story, but then Tim got something that he's going to share as well, because Admiral Mike already mentioned that and said, I hope Tim get an opportunity to do that. Hey, Tim, so you're on the spot.
Only if, yeah.
Yeah, so hey, Admiral Mike, let's get back to the story. Can you catch it? The audience up if they just popping in?
I can. First of all, I am so humbled and honored to be here. All the awards you've gotten and the accolades, and I know you don't live or act or work for those, James, but your continued service to really international humanity and the things that you're doing make a complete difference. I love the fact that you and Michelle are recognizing our veterans all month. I think that we recognize our veterans, and you know, I got to add, those who stand at home also serve. So the families that are out there and the sacrifices they make while their service member, and many times both parents, for instance, or multiple members of a family are gone. And so we've just got to remember them and be grateful for that sacrifice all year long. So let's get back to the story. I didn't do a good job of like setting the suspense or the stuff before the commercial came up. I just started seeing things come up, and then all of a sudden KCBQ shows up, and I'm like, I guess I got to stop here for a minute. But anyway, as they say, there I was in the ending stages of survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training with the United States Navy in the mountains of Southern California. And we had already been there for something like a week. And it had gone from some kind of a training exercise to some pretty serious stuff. The trainers were very much teaching us what it was like to be a prisoner of war under somebody that didn't like you very much. And so the training is there in case a tactical aviator gets shot down over bad guy territory, captured, and then tortured to reveal any information or things like that could help them and be harmful to our United States forces. And so they're kind of training you how to resist inside a prisoner of war camp. And by the way, the little nuance here is usually SEER school is attended by students like me, but about 2 years into the experience that I was there, and I don't know, testosterone fueled summertime after the Naval Academy decided that, well, I'm just going to go to SEER. Why not? I was starting to rethink that idea just about this time. And so this particular morning, which did turn out to be the last morning, we were experiencing some pretty heavy treatment. And we were out in this sandy area. And if I can describe it to you, it's in the mountains of Southern California. It's inside of a compound. It's built like a prisoner of war compound. And there's a kind of a clear area with a bunch of sand. Up on the hill, up kind of above us is the commander or the camp commander's house. And there's a flagpole out in front of that house. So it's kind of up high. And we were doing this exercise called Raking the People's Garden. So the people were the people of this fictional country, Eastern European-ish, and these bad guys that were, training us how to be POWs and all the treatment that happens when somebody is in that situation. They're all in there and they're yelling and screaming. And so we were just kind of supposed to be raking furrows with our fingers in the sand. And they would come up and tell us to stand and bow or something like that, knock us down. Some cold water, in the early morning in the high desert, in the late fall, it can be pretty cold. And so that wasn't particularly fun. And then every once in a while, they would take the senior ranking officer. And so in any prisoner of war organization, made famous by the extreme sacrifices of Vice Admiral Jim Stockdale as the senior ranking prisoner of war, that senior person organizes the prisoners to be a military organization, because even when you're in camp, you still fight and you still carry on the resistance against the enemy. And so our senior ranking officer was identified as a senior person and stand up and say, I'm the senior ranking officer. And he would be singled out for special treatment. So extra, torture or things like that. And of course it is training environment. So it wasn't torture, but it wasn't fun either. I mean, they did some things there. And so they would take the senior ranking officer up to the camp commandant's house. He'd be a bunch of banging and smashing of the stuff and yelling. And then there'd be a gunshot, like bang. And then the commandant would come out and say, we've just killed your senior ranking officer. Who's next? And 3 separate times, officers stood up and said, I'm next, and volunteered for that special treatment that goes to the senior ranking officer. Well, during this time, it was probably about colors time in the morning, as I remember it. And they don't tell you when the end of it is, and you're just there. And so they were basically raising their flag, which was a combination green, orange, black, white sort of a flag, weird patterns on it, and playing this god awful music that was their anthem. And of course, they play music 24 hours a day there to keep you awake, a little bit of psychological stuff. But they play this anthem, and they would make us stand up and bow to the flag and the anthem. Of course, we wouldn't, because we weren't showing respect to that. So we get knocked down and pounded into the dirt or whatever, and then pulled up and say bow. And they did this cycle about 3 times. And so it was getting kind of tedious, and because you get knocked down and then dragged up, told to bow, we'd say no, we'd resist them, get knocked down again. So a little bit of fighting going on there, where you weren't really allowed to fight back, as they tried to get us to respect their flag and their anthem. And this has been after now several days of not fun stuff. So we were pretty beat down, pretty tired, being in this role as prisoner. Well, this last particular time, they stand everybody up, bow, they're yelling, knocking people down, bow, show respect to our flag, show respect to our national anthem. I never tell this in person without joking. Maybe I can get through this part. Anyway, this last time, the American flag goes up and they play our national anthem. Everybody broke. Everybody. Right then, I knew what my larger purpose was. right then. Driven home through the center of my heart when that flag went up, recognizing that colors. After I'd taken the oath of office 4 years ago, that emotional event is what drove it home. And the fact that those guys were Americans that were training us. And that's how I got to have a bigger purpose than myself, which is that flag, this nation, the Constitution, and swear an oath.
Wow. You know, Admiral, we're going to take a station break, but I want to come back because it's so much to unpack from what you just said. And that's what I believe our oath to our nation is all about. We're willing to sacrifice ourselves to protect our flag and protect our nation, protect our allies. I don't want to lose that thought, but we're going to take a station break. We're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. That was so incredible what you just explained, Admiral, and just want to pick it back off that. Whichever platform that you're watching this on, if you want to be part of the conversation, go to the comments, ask any question, or make it easy. Pick up the phone, call Todd at 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man's point of view.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Convictions, healthy mentality can help.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. Oh.
Eating a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I thoroughly enjoying this interview with Admiral Mike. And Admiral Mike, I just want to say right now, you got a standing invitation to the show. If if your schedule permits. I love having you on the show. I love following your work. I love the things that you're doing. Everything comes from the heart. And when it comes from the heart, just like the story that you were just telling, and you put it in a purpose point where there are so many things bigger than just one person. When you raise, as you put it, taking a beat down from the enemies or whatever situation that we might be in, but they're trying to break us from our country or from the things that we're doing. When you believe in something, I can just only speak for myself. When you believe in something that's so precious, you're willing to die for it. I'm going to say that one more time. If you believe in something and protecting it, whatever, just like my family, I had to fight. I had to protect them. My country, I had to protect my country. I mean, that's just so important. And Admiral Mike, can you just put a fine tune on that, if you can, about a minute to finish that up?
Absolutely. That emotional event at SEER School for me drove home my connection to the flag. I had 4 years before raised my right hand and swore an oath. And when you look up the definition of oath, it's a commitment to something, greater than yourself, as it were. So support and defend the Constitution of the United States. It's an ideal. It's what founds our country. It's what all veterans and all currently serving United States military officers and civilian appointees in certain roles take that oath. And it's that commitment. And you're going to do, if you're true to your oath, you're going to do whatever it takes, all the way up to the ultimate sacrifice, to make sure that what you take an oath to, and in this case, it's the Constitution, the symbol is the flag, and the country whose course the Constitution directs, is you're going to do what it takes to do that, whether that's fighting or resisting or serving, day in and day out. You're committed. Every moment of your service is committed to that oath. And so that's what drives it. Some people are never called upon to risk their lives. Some people are never called upon to give the ultimate sacrifice. Some people might admit to you they've never been in a situation where their life has been at risk, but they still serve. And that's what the country has called on them to do. That's whatever your faith is, whatever you worship, that's what your supreme being has asked you to do. It's what you're committed to. And that's really what gives you that joy, is day in and day out, serving that cause bigger than yourself. And in this case, for me and everybody who took that oath, it's a specific set of words that can guide you. And oftentimes I've found myself when I felt like I had to, maybe sometimes giving a leadership speech, I would pull the oath apart a little bit and talk about what that meant. So they weren't just words that you stuck your hand up and, okay, yeah, I give a word, put your, and you're done. It's not that. It's a very solemn commitment. And that's why it's so powerful. But it took that one emotional event where I'd been beat down and forced to think about my commitment that really drove it home for me. And any service men and women who went to SEER in any of the services, they had the same story I do, because it's kind of set up a certain way. And at the end, they remind you you're an American, and is that powerful.
Wow. Hey, Tim, I want to get back to you because, this great man that we got on the show, it requires great friends, especially you guys in high school together.
Right.
And, pushing each other, competing against each other. What is one of the things that you remember so much about Admiral Mike that you knew that he was going to excel and achieve in anything he chose to do?
Yeah, no, and I'll get to that. If I can just add one thing to what Mike just said, James, I saw it in writing a few years ago, that the best tribute you can pay to a vet on Veterans Day, for those of us that either didn't stand on a yellow, footprint or take an oath, or stand and take an oath, is to be the kind of citizen worthy of a veteran's sacrifice in defense of, right? That's the best way you can thank a vet. Be the kind of citizen that's worth defending, right? And I also think it's sad that, back from the time that, we all went to school, you had the Pledge of Allegiance in class, and that's how you started your day, right? And I think that we're missing that, right? I mean, that for those of us that did nothing more than the dumb luck to be born, in this country, right, with all the rights and privileges and responsibilities of citizenship. I think it's sad that, the rest of our, that we don't do that anymore. And I never understood the reason for that. But anyway, so I just thought I'd share those two things. I think the thing, James, to answer your question, there's some people that go through life and they measure, they have a different definition for acquaintances and friends. And some people acquire lots of acquaintances. And I've been very content just to keep a small cadre of very close friends. And that does it for me. And, one of the things that I shared with you about Mike, and one of the just many, many reasons that I respect him so much, is that Mike is no different now than he was then. Okay. And he didn't become, he didn't become who he is today because of something he pinned on, or something, a set of shoulder boards, or a position in corporate, or whatever. You can just tell, right? And Mike was one of those guys, and remains one of those guys, who is exactly the same person today as he was then. Yes, he's had different experiences. Yes, he's refined his thoughts about things. Yes, he's, gone on and done some amazing things. And there were some people in our graduating class that went off, in addition to go do some amazing things. And yet the people that are genuine and true are the people that I'm most impressed with, right? And so I think that's one of the best compliments that I can pay my dear friend Mike, is that he is the same guy today that I knew then.
Wow, that's an incredible compliment. And as I get a chance to, I'm talking about read his weekly stuff and get a chance to know him, have him on the show, I feel the same. I mean, just an honor to be acquainted with both of you guys, to be honest with you. We're down to the last minute of the show. Admiral Mike, your book, in 20 seconds or less. How can you tell our audience how they can get a copy of that great book that Tim gonna hold up again? All right.
Well, my respect for Tim is deeper than his for mine, and he's the same guy too. And so if you grow up being a human as a leader, and you retain a human and don't let the title get to you, that's going to be the secret. And that is what powers my book. It's 33 stories of what I learned how to lead as I went through my 36-year Navy career, and then embarked on something different. So you can go to Amazon and get that. You'll also get the Manazir Maxims there. You'll get a study guide there. The short stories are there. And I also did an audio book. I narrated it myself. So wherever you get your audio books, you can get that as well. But really, really, really want to engage with people who are trying to understand, or who already understand. You don't lead with a title. You lead with your heart.
You don't lead with a title. You lead with your heart. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, our viewers. I tell you, we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's your life. And
hey everybody, Charlie, so are you tired of the chlorine smell and poor quality of your tap water? Then pick up the